G'day legends, and welcome to Aussie Weekly Deals Showdown Edition. This week, it's Coles versus Woolworths in the ultimate grocery battle. We're comparing every deal, category by category, to see who truly gives you the best bang for your buck. Let's dive into the ring. Number, fresh produce, face off. Starting strong with the fresh stuff. Woolworths kicks off with Australian Calypso mangoes at $2.50 each. But hold on, Coles doesn't have mangoes in this week's catalog, so that's an easy point to Woolies. Score: Woolworths 1, Coles 0. Avocados now? Woolworths has Hass avocados at $1.30 each. Coles is sitting this one out too on the produce front. Another point flies to Woolworths. It's 2-0 already. Pink Lady apples time. Woolworths asks $4.90 per kilo. Coles isn't listing apples this round. Woolies takes it again, making it 3-0. Pineapples are in play. Woolworths has Australian sweet pineapple at $4.90 each. No pineapple counter from Coles. That's 4-0 to Woolworths. Blueberries battle. Woolworths premium blueberries come in at $5.50 for a 200-gram punnet. Coles stays quiet on berries this week. Another point to Woolies, now 5-0. Tomatoes on deck. Woolworths has sweet Solanado tomatoes at $3 per 200-gram punnet, and cherry or mini Roma tomatoes at $2.50 for 250 grams. Coles has no tomato special showing. 2 more points to Woolworths. The score: Woolworths 7, Coles 0. Mushrooms moment. Woolworths loose cut mushrooms cost $10.90 per kilo. Coles skips the mushroom aisle. Point to Woolies, now 8-0. Onions up next. Woolworths brown onions sit at $2.50 per kilo. Coles provides no onion alternative. Woolworths extends the lead to 9-0. Loving the showdown? Hit subscribe for weekly Coles versus Woolies battles. Fresh herbs and salad time. Woolworths offers any 2 items for $5 from their fresh herb and salad range, including broccolini, truss, tomatoes, coast lettuce, spring onions, radish, and fresh herbs. Coles has no comparable deal visible. That's another point to Woolworths, making it 10-0. Number pantry staples power play. Now let's move to the pantry, where things might heat up. Greek yogurt showdown. Coles has Farmers Union Greek yogurt pouches at $1.25 for 130 grams, saving $1.25. Woolworths also has Farmers Union Greek yogurt at $1.25, but theirs are pots at 150 grams, also saving $1.25. The per gram price makes Woolworths slightly better value. Point to Woolies. Score: Woolworths 11, Coles 0. Coca-Cola clash. Coles offers Coca-Cola varieties at $2 each for 1.25 liters, saving $2. Woolworths has Coke 30 packs at $30, saving $20. Different formats here, but per liter, Coles comes out cheaper at $1.60 versus Woolworths at $2.67 per liter. Point to Coles! Finally on the board, Woolworths 11, Coles 1. Cadbury chocolate time. Coles has Cadbury dairy milk blocks at $4, saving $4. Woolworths also runs Cadbury blocks at $4, saving $4. It's a dead heat on chocolate. No points awarded. Score stays Woolworths 11, Coles 1. Coffee battle brewing. Coles has Nescafe sachets at $4, saving $4. Woolworths doesn't show Nescafe sachets this week. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 2. Magnum ice cream matchup. Coles has Streets Magnum Minis at $6, saving $6. Woolworths doesn't feature Magnums. Point to Coles. Now it's Woolworths 11, Coles 3. Laundry detergent duel. Coles offers Omo laundry liquid 2 liters at $15, saving $15. Woolworths shows Omo at $15 too for 2 liters. Dead even again, no points. Score: Woolworths 11, Coles 3. Quick timeout. Smash that subscribe button for more grocery face-offs every Tuesday. Old El Paso kits comparison. Coles has Old El Paso standard kits at $4, saving $4.50. Woolworths shows Old El Paso premium kits at $4.50, saving $5. Different products, but Coles offers better value per kit for standard versions. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 4. Pringles chips war. Coles has Pringles at $1.35, saving $1.35. Woolworths doesn't showcase Pringles. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 5. Mars bars and Snickers. Coles at $1 each, saving $1.50. Woolworths has no Mars or Snickers special showing. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 6. Pop Box popcorn. Coles offers it at $2, saving $2. Woolworths stays silent on popcorn. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 7. Oat chocolate milk. Coles has it at $2 per liter, saving $2. Woolworths doesn't list oat. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 8. Thins potato chips. Coles at $2.50, saving $2.50. Woolworths has no thins, showing. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 9. Schweppes soft drinks. Coles offers them at $1.50 per 1.1 liter, saving $1.50. Woolworths doesn't feature Schweppes. Point to Coles. The score is now Woolworths 11, Coles 10. This is getting tight. Monster energy drinks. Coles has 4 packs at $8, saving $8. Woolworths doesn't show Monster. Point to Coles. We're tied at Woolworths 11, Coles 11. Golden Crumpet Rounds. Coles at $2.40, saving $2.40. Woolworths has no crumpet deals visible. Point to Coles. Coles takes the lead. Woolworths 11, Coles 12. Mr. Kipling Cakes. Coles at $3, saving $3. Woolworths stays quiet. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 13. Kellogg's LCM bars. Coles at $2.25, saving $2.25. Woolworths doesn't list them. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 14. Kellogg's Nutri-Grain. Coles at $2.25, saving $2.25. Woolworths has no Nutri-Grain showing. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 15. Fiber 1 bars. Coles at $3.45, saving $3.45. Woolworths doesn't feature them. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 16. Kellogg's K-Time Twists. Coles at $2.75, saving $2.75. Woolworths has no K-Time deals. Point to Coles. Woolworths 11, Coles 17. If you're Team Coles or Team Woolies, subscribe to see who wins next week. Aeroplane Jelly. Woolworths offers any 3 for $3.99, saving 51 cents. Coles has no jelly specials. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 12, Coles 17. Legos Pasta Sauce. Woolworths at $2.75, saving $1.85. Coles doesn't show Legos. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 13, Coles 17. Greens baking mixes. Woolworths at $3, down from $3.80. Coles stays out. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 14, Coles 17. Praise mayonnaise. Woolworths at $6, saving $2. Coles has no praise showing. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 15, Coles 17. Genki Forest sparkling water. Woolworths at $6.60 for a 6-pack, saving $4.40. Coles doesn't list it. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 16, Coles 17. Woolworths cashews at $14, saving $4. Coles has no cashew specials. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 17, Coles 17. We're dead even again. Bertolli olive oil. Woolworths at $16 for 750 milliliters, saving $7. Coles sits out. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths takes back the lead. Woolworths 18, Coles 17. Twinings tea. Woolworths at $6.75, saving $6.75. Coles doesn't feature Twinings. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 19, Coles 17. Nescafe Espresso Concentrate. Woolworths at $5.50, saving $5.50. Coles has no espresso concentrate. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 20, Coles 17. ARMC Jasmine Rice. Woolworths at $15 for 5 kilograms, saving $15. Coles stays quiet. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 21, Coles 17. Safcol tuna pouches. Woolworths at $1.35, saving $1.35. Coles has no tuna showing. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 22, Coles 17. Pure Harvest coconut milk. Woolworths at $1.90, saving $1.90. Coles doesn't list it. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 23, Coles 17. Table of Plenty rice cakes. Woolworths at $3.50, saving $3.50. Coles stays out. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 24, Coles 17. Nestle Milo Frothy. Woolworths at $4.30, saving $4.30. Coles has no Milo Frothy. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 25, Coles 17. Don't miss the final score. Subscribe now for weekly supermarket showdowns. Coca-Cola 30-pack revisited. Woolworths at $30 for 30 cans. Different format from Coles, but already counted. No new points. Gatorade, sports drink. Woolworths at $2.50, saving $1.70. Coles doesn't show Gatorade. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 26, Coles 17, Remedy Kombucha. Woolworths at $2.50, saving $1.80, and also 4 packs at $5.70, saving $3.80. Coles has no kombucha deals. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 27, Coles 17, Aussie Shred Energy Drink. Woolworths at $9.60 for 4 pack, saving $6.40. Coles doesn't list it. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 28, Coles 17, Pepsi Varieties 24 pack. Woolworths at $22.50, saving $15. Coles has no Pepsi. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 29, Coles 17, Macy and Taylor Pretzels. Woolworths at $2.15, down from $3.10. Coles doesn't show them. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 30, Coles 17, Twisties Party Bag. Woolworths at $4, down from $5.35. Coles stays out. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 31, Coles 17, Number, Meat, and Dairy Delights. Now, for the meat and dairy showdown. Australian chicken breast. Woolworths has it at $8.50 per kilo, saving $3.50. Coles doesn't show chicken breast specials. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 32, Coles 17, Australian half-leg ham. Woolworths at $8 per kilo, everyday low price. Coles has no ham deals showing. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 33, Coles 17, Sun pork half-leg ham. Woolworths at $12 per kilo. Coles doesn't list sun pork. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 34, Coles 17, Woolworths double smoked quarter leg ham. At $14.50 per kilo. Coles has no comparable product. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 35, Coles 17, Australian pork shoulder boneless roast. Woolworths at $9 per kilo, saving $2. Coles doesn't feature pork shoulder. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 36, Coles 17, Woolworths applesauce. At $2, everyday low price. Coles has no applesauce showing. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 37, Coles 17, Woolworths roast mixed vegetables. At $5.50 per pack, Coles doesn't list them. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 38, Coles 17, Maggie gravy. Woolworths at $12.50 per kilo. Coles stays quiet. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 39, Coles 17, Australian lamb midloin chops. Woolworths at $26 per kilo, saving $7. Coles has no lamb chops visible. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 40, Coles 17, Woolworths marinated kebabs. At $10, saving $1.50. Coles doesn't show kebabs. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 41, Coles 17, Australian pork Scotch fillet steak. Woolworths at $10, saving $2. Coles has no pork Scotch. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 42, Coles 17, Woolworths COOK slow cooked pork shoulder. At $12, saving $3. Coles doesn't feature it. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 43, Coles 17, Luva Duck Peking Duck. Woolworths at $13, saving $5. Coles stays out. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 44, Coles 17, Ocean Chef Atlantic salmon portions. Woolworths at $24, saving $5.50. Coles doesn't list salmon portions. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 45, Coles 17, Woolworths Australian fresh salmon portions. At $13, saving $2. Coles has no fresh salmon deals. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 46, Coles 17, Woolworths barbecue marinated steaks. Any 2 for $15, saving from $1. Coles doesn't show barbecue steaks. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 47, Coles 17, Australian beef stir-fry bulk pack. Woolworths at $18 while stocks last. Coles has no beef stir-fry. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 48, Coles 17, macro Australian grass-fed beef porterhouse steaks. Woolworths at $18 for 400 grams pack, saving $4. Coles doesn't feature macro beef. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 49, Coles 17, Dorsogna shortcut bacon. Woolworths at $15 per kilo, saving $6. Coles has no bacon specials showing. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 50, Coles 17, Huggies nappies. Woolworths at $13, saving $9. Coles doesn't list Huggies. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 51, Coles 17, Bega cheese slices. Woolworths at $10, saving $1. Coles doesn't show Bega slices. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 52, Coles 17, Lemnos halloumi. Woolworths at $5.80, saving $1.50. Coles has no halloumi deals. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 53, Coles 17. Inside Out Pokemon drinks. Woolworths has new introductory prices from $2.60 to $4.50. Coles doesn't feature them. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 54, Coles 17. Paul's Kids yogurt pouches. Woolworths at $1, saving 30 cents. Coles doesn't list them. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 55, Coles 17. Streets Cornetto. Woolworths at $6.75, half price. Coles doesn't show Cornetto. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 56, Coles 17. Peter's Twin Pole Icy Poles. Woolworths at $4, half price. Coles has no twin pole deals. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 57, Coles 17. Peter's Original Lil Pops. Woolworths at $4, new introductory price. Coles doesn't feature them. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 58, Coles 17. Volley Boost yogurt. Woolworths at $1.95, saving 85 cents. Coles stays out. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 59, Coles 17. Weiss ice cream bars. Woolworths at $5.70, 40% off. Coles has no Weiss showing. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 60, Coles 17. Jalna Greek-style yogurt. Woolworths at $7, saving $1.80. Coles doesn't list Jalna. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 61, Coles 17. Philadelphia cream cheese twin block. Woolworths at $9, lower shelf price. Coles has no Philadelphia. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 62, Coles 17. Devondale block or grated cheese. Woolworths at $10.80, down from $12. Coles doesn't show Devondale. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 63, Coles 17. Dare iced coffee. Woolworths at $4.35, saving $1.15. Coles has no Dare showing. Point to Woolworths. Woolworths 64, Coles 17. Number, final verdict, and scoreboard. And there you have it. Mates, Woolworths absolutely dominates this week's showdown with 64 points to Coles' 17. That's a massive victory for the fresh food people. But here's the smart play, legends. Coles crushed it on pantry staples like snacks, chocolate, and soft drinks with their half-price offers. If you're stocking up on chips, lollies, and party supplies, Coles is your winner. Woolworths, however, swept every single category when it comes to fresh produce, meat, dairy, and household essentials. Their fresh Aussie mangoes, avocados, chicken, lamb, and seafood deals are unbeatable this week. So the savvy shopper strategy? Hit Woolworths for your weekly fresh food shop, meat, fruit, and veg. Then swing past Coles to load up on pantry items, snacks, and drinks for the best savings. Final score, Woolworths 64, Coles 17. Woolworths takes the crown this week. Subscribe for next week's showdown, and drop a comment. Are you Team Coles or Team Woolies?